We're in Tennessee with Nissan, and here's a first look of the all-new Murano. We are going to do a full-length review, which will include driving impressions and pricing when the embargo lifts.
So what I'll do is, if this is after, you're watching after the video's out, I'll put a link here. And if that's the case, then that other video is live. So it's been a while, Nissan. The very first Murano was introduced in 2002. That's 22 years ago. I guess 23 years ago. This is a 25 model. And then the last model that was fully updated was 10 years ago. So they've let this sit in the marketplace, in my opinion, for far too long. So now we're going to walk around, show you what it's all about. Let's get into it.
There's some big changes under the hood. Gone is the V6 and the CVT. This is powered by a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with a 9-speed automatic transmission, 241 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. So that is less horsepower than the previous model, 19 horsepower less, but you gain more torque, 20 pound-feet. In Canada, standard all-wheel drive. In the US, front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive options are available. You can put regular fuel in the Murano.
So the goal with Murano was to build a sophisticated, upscale-looking vehicle and make it very modern and clean. And I think mission accomplished. This is actually built off a modified platform of the last generation, the one from 10 years ago. But you think about all the engineering that had to go into that. So they had to make the new engine and transmission fit, and they modified it for all the modern safety features like electric power steering. So now you can get some of those autonomous features. But on the outside, it is wider than the previous model, about 2.6 inches wider, but the wheelbase and the track, that's the wheels side to side, remain the same. And what they've done to make it look upscale and clean is thinner headlamps here, nice decorative applique across the front, and then you have the vertical vents here with the Nissan badge. So very clean looking and modern. When you go down the side, you see that it's more square because of its wider proportions, 2.6 inches wider, but the wheelbase remains the same. Not a fan of these wheels. This is the top trim, but there are other wheels to choose from. A big change from the previous model is this sweeping arc that you have here. Gives the vehicle a sense of motion. This one is done in chrome. And I think the biggest change, you know, the front is pretty dramatic, right? But the back, if you look at the details, there's a lot more going on here than at first glance. So first of all, they cleaned up the back of this vehicle a lot. They moved the license plate down into the lower bumper here. So that left the whole liftgate here nice and clean. So all you have there is the side-to-side rear tail lamps. Also Murano script across the back. And up here you don't see a windshield wiper. It is hidden underneath the rear valance, similar to what you would see in a Lexus RX. I think you're going to see a bit of a theme here. Are they going after Lexus with this product? Well, when you watch our other video with the pricing, all I can say is I think you'll be impressed. But the back is tidy and athletic looking. All right, to open the power lift gate, there's a little button in the Nissan badge, and a very long and wide cargo area. Now, I mentioned that this is a carryover platform that has been heavily modified, so the length and the width is the same. And it's an in-betweener in size. It's not a mid-size in the new sense where they're all 3 rows, think Pathfinder. And it's not a compact like Rogue. It's bigger than that, and it doesn't have a lot of direct competitors, which is why it is kind of appealing and why I think maybe it goes up against the much more expensive Lexus RX. Now, under here, I want to show you something. This one has a temporary spare tire, which we absolutely love. Now, we did a little research. We looked initially and thought it has a tire repair kit, and the temporary spare tire is a dealer option. Either way, if you want that, you're going to be able to get it.
Now, the interior of the Murano is quite impressive. Nissan was going for a more upscale, sophisticated, elegant look, and I really think that they achieved that. So let's start with the center console. Take a look at this. They could have gone with hard plastic here, but it's all soft touch materials. It's a floating center console. You've got some nice storage under here for a bag, snacks for the kids, or other smaller items. There is some hard plastic under here, which is typical, but you don't always see this in this segment. A lot of times it's quite a bit of hard plastic. I like the white stitching that's going through here too. In the front, you have a wireless charger. That is standard equipment on the Murano. There is some piano black at the center console drive modes. They've moved to a button shifter. It's not our favorite. We prefer a traditional shifter, but Nissan says they really wanted to keep this center console really clean. 2 cup holders, a little bit of a storage pocket, and then you've got the center console storage box, which is fairly deep. So I think you'll be happy with the storage in this model. Let's get into the technology. Of course, it's all new in this vehicle. Standard dual 12.3-inch screens. The touch screen has standard wireless Apple Carplay and Android Auto. And if you're interested in Google built in, you have to go up one to the middle trim. I really like the graphics on here. They're clean, they're crisp. This infotainment system is very easy to use. Now, moving down from there, you have a volume knob. Always nice to see a volume knob, but you will notice that if you want to turn on your heated seats and ventilated front seats, which are available on the top trim, the ventilated front seats, standard heated seats, you've got to go into the screen. The heated steering wheel is also in the screen on the driver's side seat, so you can touch that, but there's also another heated steering wheel button on the side of the steering wheel. So you've got an actual physical button if you want it. There is some high gloss black trim here with Murano scripted across. I don't like high gloss piano black, and although Nissan has done a really good job with making this interior feel more upscale, it'd be nice to see a more matte finish in here. We first saw this in the Aria, this wood trim. It's a capacitive touch panel, and that's where your HVAC controls are. I think it looks really good. Listen to this. You can feel it as you touch it. Maybe you can hear that sound a little bit. And this is where your start-stop button is. Now take a look at all the materials. Nissan says that this is Venetian-inspired glass, and you can get this on the middle trim. It's not available on the base model. It feels nice to the touch. It's really smooth. It looks like it has a texture to it, but it's just a smooth surface. On the dash, you've got soft touch material, more stitching along here, so it definitely feels more upscale. You'll notice that the Bose speakers are in this top trim. It's a 10-speaker Bose sound system. That's available on the middle trim. It comes standard with a 6-speaker audio system. So let's get into some of the other standard features, just in case you want to buy a Murano that is more budget friendly. So things like heated front seats, standard equipment, a heated steering wheel, power front seats, a power liftgate, and Nissan Safety Shield 360. If you move up to the middle trim, that's where you're going to get driver's seat memory, which includes the mirrors. Always nice to have the mirrors included. Ventilated front seats are on the top trim. Panoramic sunroof with a sunshade is on the middle trim. So you'll see that there is actually quite a bit of value on the middle trim, and I'd love to tell you the pricing, which we can't yet, but if you don't want to make the jump to that top trim, you will find that the middle trim offers a lot of value. I really like how Nissan went for the valance to integrate the screen. You know, a lot of manufacturers just kind of stick it on the dash. So this is really well integrated, giving it quite a clean looking interior. Now, other features on that middle trim include 64 color ambient lighting. I also really like the around view monitor, which is standard on the middle trim. It shows you different camera angles, and it's easy just to get out of those tight spots. This comes standard with leatherette upholstery, available semi-aniline with quilting that you see on our top trim test model. Nissan has gone with their zero gravity seats. I find that they're very comfortable. You see that in all of their models. You'll find that there's plenty of thigh support, and the seats aren't short. So when you are on a long road trip, you're gonna find this Murano to be quite comfortable.
All right, so the back seat of Murano. Now, I mentioned earlier, I've been talking about it a lot, it's a mid-size, so you get good leg room. Back here is just over 36 inches of leg room, and Nissan says they've added more knee room. Looks to me like they've carved out the back here of the front seat, and I would say it's quite comfortable. This is the top spec, and you get heated seats. That's available starting on the mid-trim. It also has USB-C and your own vents back here. I would say the seat comfort, it's kind of firm, but not bad. I did notice something earlier. There's no handle to get this, and you got to really dig in there. These are first world problems, I know, but there's the armrest, so I would say quite comfortable. Yeah, that's the back seat. So this vehicle is going to be going on sale very shortly at the beginning of 2025. We spoke to a senior executive at Nissan and we asked him 10 years to bring out a new model. He goes, that won't happen again. They'll be refreshing them more often.
Yeah, they've been coming out with some pretty great models this year. So it's nice to see Nissan coming out with some new products. They certainly needed it. I wanted to add that Pro Pilot Assist is standard. Pro Pilot Assist 1.1 is available. Unfortunately, this model doesn't get 2.1, but Nissan is working to bring that to market at some point.
So we don't have the pricing for you today. We can't share that. That's going to be in an embargoed video. As I mentioned, if it is published, I'll have the link available for you to watch. I think you're going to be impressed with some of the pricing. That's all we can say.
So that's our first look of the all-new Murano. If you like what you see, make sure you subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.